Welcome back to Batman Arkham Asylum. Who's gonna clean up that mess?
Not me.
Not me.
I almost keep thinking that's just all in Batman's head, and he just sees little teeny bats everywhere. Like, oh, jeez.
Oh, Harley, clean up the mess, would you?
Okay, first off, thank you, country western Joker. Second off,
I'm trying my best here.
so here's an introduction to our wing tech upgrades. Whenever we get enough XP, we can be able to buy certain upgrades from this little shop of ours. First thing I'm gonna buy is the inverted takedown, which is gonna be handy for our stealth sections. More on those a little later in the video.
By the way, really
Okay.
quick, I want to point out a fun little thing So, you know how certain
Like I said, they've all seen some shit.
You know how video games will have anti-piracy measures and all that? Like, little things that the game will know that you pirated it, so...
Correct.
Yeah. The one in this game is kind of evil, but ingenious. One of the big components of this game is gliding around using the cape.
Yes.
They took away that component in the pirated version, so that basically means the game is unwinnable.
Yeah.
Yeah, little things like that.
My other two favorites are with Earthbound, where they double the amount of enemies, but even if you're able to get to the end, literally the second the boss fight starts, the game freezes, forces you to reset the console, and then all your save data is erased.
Real quick, Matt. Something bad's happened. They got Gordon.
Wait, oh, Bowles was on it all the whole time.
Yep.
What a hyperbolic asshole.
Wait, so even though he was being all mean to Joker, he was actually in on it?
Yeah, he was basically putting on a show.
I love the idea of Joker later calling him like, Bowles, I told you weren't supposed to call me mean names. That wasn't part of the gig.
I don't think Joker cares.
I love the idea of him caring about it.
Also, I'm surprised no one caught on to my little pun there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that pun was kind of bullshit.
Anyway,
But no,
that one got a reaction
also,
out of me.
And also, I feel like the conversation would more go like, well, wait, like, so Joker, how was my act? Very good, but Bulls, words can hurt, you know. They can hurt.
But you know what hurts even worse? A knife in your head!
And then bam. But yeah.
Anyway, I do want to go back, because me and Logan touched upon it a bit. Yeah, like we mentioned, Seeley was marathoning Batman the Animated Series up to this point. What exactly got you interested in marathoning it, sis?
I had watched Batman Beyond in the past, but I had never seen the original series, and I wanted to watch everything leading up to that.
By the way, I have the Batman Beyond Blu-ray, and it is awesome.
That's awesome!
Woo!
Batman's poised, ready to strike.
Sorry, I just wanted to have the whole thing play out.
There you go.
I thought I would hate this show, but in reality, I'm just too engrossed into it.
Also,
We made it to the mid-season finale. Really hooked me back into it.
by the way, really quick, back to the anti-piracy thing. My absolute favorite version of the anti-piracy.
Oh, hey, Penguin.
Hi, Penguin.
Yeah, we don't see him in this game, oddly enough.
Yeah, that's not until City.
Yeah, but
Yeah, well.
But yeah, no, my favorite anti-piracy measure in any game ever is when Far Cry 4 came out on the PC version, there was a option to change the reticle and resolution and all that, or like to change something, I forgot. But because the game on the piracy version defaults to something else. And so on Twitter, people ask, hey, where's the option to change the reticle and all that? And literally it says in the non-pirated version. Basically, Ubisoft...
It was a little trick.
Yeah, Ubisoft tricked people into outing that they pirated the game.
No, stuff like that is perfect. Go ahead, Hype.
Okay, so now we're going to get to another section of Arkham. This is pretty much the scene where Gordon was taken. If you notice closely, Boyles was drinking from a flask. We're going to find the flask, and then pretty much, because he's been drinking that bourbon, it's probably like still in his breath. We're going to analyze the bourbon particles to try to see where Boyles was last, and hopefully that'll lead us straight to Gordon.
That seems like bullshit, but I love it because it's Batman.
I was gonna say freaking crap. I was gonna say like I love this detective game now that I get to hear someone utter the words bourbon particles. Yes, the science. I'm serious. With all this technology, I would not even blink if at one point somebody asked Batman, "How do you plan to do this?" Magic. And he just continues on his way, and nobody points. And nobody's like, you know what?
Fair,
Guys. Shh. The phone.
Oh, the phone.
The phone is ringing.
Well, answer it.
I'm trying to contact Steve. Is he there?
He's right here.
Oh, hey, Joker.
Do.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I've looked everywhere, but I can only find his head. I'll get back to you when I find the rest of him.
Oops.
Classy as ever, Joker.
That be his thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to show that. But yeah, this is where the Bourbon Trail ends, but yeah, let's say where he spoke, maybe somewhere around here.
Also, is that Aaron Cash?
No, that's not Cash.
No, we don't see him until later.
Okay, because this game introduced a character, much like how the animated series introduced Harley Quinn, this game introduced a character that actually became popular in the comics, Aaron Cash.
Interesting.
Cool.
Well, actually, fun fact, also appears in the Lego Batman movie in one scene.
Whoa.
Oh, nice.
Whoop!
Whoa, jeez.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, so it looks like we're not gonna be able to take the elevator.
Because of course not. It's never that simple. But,
But-
given that this is a game that was published by Odddice, who also published the Tomb Raider games, and we're gonna have to follow their shtick.
Bat parkour.
Published by Eidos, but done by Rocksteady.
Right.
Batman, not everything you do has to be narrated with the word bat before it.
What are you Bat talking about?
Bat, forget about it.
Shut the bat fuck up.
Shut your bat hole.
Bat hole.
Both of them, he would say. Oh, jeez.
That's awesome. Honestly, that's something that All-Star Batman and Robin Batman would say.
So, Batman, how do
that's-
you even, kind of go to the restroom in that suit? That hole. What? What?
Did I stutter?
No, I said nothing. So, Hype, can you actually jump in this game, or is it more like how I'm seeing, honestly, to kind of give Sealy's any more? Is it like Ocarina of Time, where you...
Yeah, I was about to say, it's kind of like old 3D Zelda in that you don't have like a designated jump button. You only jump whenever you have to cross through, whenever you have to jump a gap or whatever.
Yeah, I see that.
Do.
You're supposed to be flirting with me so that I can hate you.
Well, that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
Never did she ever get the punchline to the joke.
Also, holy crap, I gotta say, especially with this game, wow, they really gave, like, Mark Hamill, like, the chapter book of scripts, just, like, all the time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
well, get used to that, because that's pretty much how Joker is in pretty much all the games, for better or worse.
Well, no, I love it. He has such good presence.
In fact, in Arkham City, he has so much dialogue that he is like, okay, I'm done. I stopped playing the character. And then he kind of gave up on that.
Yeah,
Well-
it's
Ooh, what's
like,
that?
I'll give him...
Hang on, what
Oh
was that,
yeah,
James?
this is scattered throughout Arkham Asylum, and yes,
Well, I'm gonna say this first, but,
but
what is this sound?
The sound of a crazy man.
Yes, and then I was gonna say, James, you were going to say something.
I forgot
Oh,
what I
wait,
was
this is
gonna
the third character Tom Kane's voicing.
Yep.
quote unquote.
we'll say 2.5. We'll explain why later. But yeah, scattered around Arkham Asylum are these little slabs with markings on them. Whenever you scan them with your detective mode, it pretty much encrypts a certain story involving Armadeus Arkham, and pretty much the events that led up to the creation of Arkham and a bunch of other stuff.
So is this place actually haunted?
Somewhat.
Haunted by crazies.
Also, what were you saying earlier, James?
I actually
You
forgot. I forgot what I was going to say.
Too much happened. Too much. Yeah.
It's okay, it'll
Look
come
at
back to him.
Also,
I remember. Oh, I remember now. What happened right before James was I was talking about how Joker has incredible like presence as a villain, and I don't mind hearing his narration and stuff.
Which, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what WB really ran with for the good majority of the Arkham games. Because, despite fans' requests, Joker ended up being the poster villain for more or less all of them.
with
And the
the
reason I
exception
say
of
it's-
Knight, and for good reason.
And the
Yes, Steve?
I was about to say the reason I say for better or for worse is that I'll go into detail on it when we get to stories like City and Origins, but I would say they kind of ape Joker almost to the detriment of villains that I think should be the main villain of their respective games. But again, we'll go more into that once we get to City and Origins.
Okay.
I'd say
So
in
we
City's
got-
case they did it fine. It's every other game after that that kind of feels like Joker was forced.
Yeah, it's okay. Really
Trust
weird.
me,
compared.
trust me. I'm sorry. I'm the person
You're
who has
right.
to do night for this channel for all y'all. Fuck you, by the way. But
That's your own damn fault.
It's almost as if I don't own it or something.
But the thing about Knight is that if you think he feels forced in some of these, dear God, he is 100% forced into Knight.
Duly noted.
Like, they bullshit
Duly noted.
him
Duly
into
noted.
the
How do we get rid of? Duly noted. How do we get rid of these guns?
Well, the thing is that, like, you can't, in this game anyway, you can't, like, perma get rid of these guns. You pretty much just have to, like, take out the gunmen themselves. This is where the stealth aspect of the Arkham series comes into play.
And it's a good thing that, of all things, Gotham City has a huge fetish towards gargoyle statues.
And the inability to look up.
Well, to be fair, it is gothic.
Hence Gotham.
Yep.
So what you want to do is sneak up behind these guys and initiate a silent takedown.
On the Batman.
That's his calling card.
You know what? He
says
should
it.
do that every time.
Do dump.
Just in case you forgot. I'm Batman. Just one time. Anyway, now we got past that joke. So
Fun fact, the I'm Batman actually came from the 1989 movie.
I mean, that is one of the more iconic portrayals of the Batman.
So, what you guys doing?
I love this.
me, are you?
Do you understand me?
Excuse me. You are excused.
Do
Honestly, I would have, if it were me at that scene, I would wait until Joker's other line at that point, and then I would lay the final blow. It's like,
wait, what's the line?
it's like, oh, good, and then something like, it's like laying out the plans of like when Batman shows up, and then Batman shows up, Batman's like, oh, look who it is!
Took you long enough.
Yeah, because that is probably one of my favorite aspects about the Arkham series is that, like, they're kind of like nothing in the grand scheme of things, but I do love listening to a lot of the conversations that characters can have with each other. Like City, I think, is the magnum opus of all that, because it has some of my favorite, like, little conversations you can miss out on.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are properly introduced to the stealth aspect of Arkham, or of Arkham Asylum, carrying over through all the other games. Pretty much you have to just, anytime you go into a room where there's nothing but gunned enemies, you pretty much have to use stealth and sometimes the environment to take down everyone before you can proceed.
Yeah,
It
and
stalls gargoyles indoors.
Well, just in
They have a-
case they're there specifically for if the Joker ever takes over Arkham, that, you know, Batman has a place to sneak around.
on the Batman.
Yeah.
It's like the
Yeah.
Spider-Man thing all over again.
Yeah, that what we just did, that's the inverted takedown that we got from our upgrade shop.
Oh my god! You just killed him!
No, he didn't kill him. He just knocked
Oh,
him
you,
out.
you
cold.
still cracked his skull. I'm pretty sure.
Da-da-da-da-da.
I'm the
He's
Batman.
not- he's
Punch
not-
your dick.
Oh God, you did. Jeez.
Batstick punch.
Yeah, that's another thing that I love. It's a bit incidental, but the ragdolling in the Arkham games is wonderful to an extent where anytime you try to do a, like, rounded takedown, you'll sometimes accidentally, like, the way that the Thug or Batman will move about, you'll sometimes accidentally either punch him in the groin, or sometimes punch him in the butt.
Whoa.
By the end of the night, you will be left with one less cheek.
Damn. Critical combo strike. So what are some of your favorite upgrades to go for?
Oh yeah, that's basically a combat upgrade.
That feels good to stretch.
So basically, upgrades in this, they're separated into three categories. You have combat upgrades, which do things like give you like more combat potential, or pretty much increase the power of your punches, or like they can increase power of the punches, get you new types of takedowns. Or there's also you know the multiplier that sometimes adds up whenever you're in the middle of combat? When it reaches a certain number, that's when you can do special takedowns. You can get an upgrade where it takes less multipliers to get those special takedowns.
I saw a funny zero punctuation review for this game, and I want to ask you, since he made it sound like a. Oh, hey, it's John DiMaggio.
No, it's not.
Oh, that
no.
totally sounded like him.
It kind of did, but it's not him.
I'm pretty sure he's in the game still, voicing some of the mooks.
We'll have to double check, but anyway.
Whoa!
Bunt.
Through the glass.
Now, real quick, what were you saying, zero punctuation?
Yes. I'm asking you just to make sure it wasn't just done for a joke. Like this detective view. Mm-hmm. He was talking about how like there is no limit to it. It's not like on a charger or a battery or life or anything.
Oh no!
And
Like
it lets you still be able to see everything.
Much... Mm-hmm.
So he made the joke of there really is no reason why you should. Oh wow. He was making the joke of there's really no reason why you shouldn't use it except for the fact that it would probably make an art designer very mad that all of his work is being reduced to skeletons.
Honestly, he's not that far removed, because you could easily play the game without it, but it's also, like, very handy to a point where you might as well just use it throughout the entire game.
So he was making the joke of you could play the entire game in detective vision, pretty much.
Yeah, no, and...
But anyway, just before I forget, just going back to talking about the upgrades, their upgrades are separated into 3 different kinds you can get. The combat upgrades, which I just mentioned, you can get gadget upgrades, which pretty much, like, whether it be, like, different types of batarangs, or, like, upgrades to, like, gadgets you get later on, and health upgrades, which pretty much, well, increase your health.
Okay.
And for those that aren't quite savvy with this game's combat or stealth mechanics, well, first of all, why are you still playing the game? And secondly, if you still want to play the game just for the sake of the name, those health extensions are probably your best bet. Oh,
Okay.
Pimples.
by the way,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind.
There's all
Dead end.
another trap.
He dug himself into a deep bowl.
Yeah, basically, I guess they knew that we were tracking him because, yeah, he pretty much killed them off.
And
before we begin before we resume the story, I sense a distraction coming about.
distraction.
There we go.
Oh, hey, Ed.
Well, as if I didn't have enough on my plate. So yeah, this is pretty much the big side quest of... This is pretty much the big side quest of this game. The Riddler has pretty much... a lot of people don't know how he did this. It's explained that he was kind of privy on what the Joker was planning, so he pretty much took the opportunity to do his own thing. The Riddler has placed an assortment of riddles and knickknacks all throughout Arkham Asylum, and he's pretty much tasking you to pretty much, solve all his riddles and collect all his stuff.
Now, we talked about it, I think, a bit in Night, and how it was, like, massive. They're all around the area. Is it any tedious in this game?
I would say, it's probably the least tedious here for 2 reasons. First off, Asylum, in its nature, is, the most linear of the games, so it's not like you have to...
This game is more like a Metroidvania as opposed to a open world.
Mm-hmm. And there's also the least the smallest number of them. There's still a lot, but there's not as many as they are in City Origins or Night.
I would say at the very most, it's the most balanced here. Mm-hmm. Oh, hello.
He's like, put down the gun. It's like, oh.
And yeah, just to let people know, as far as the Riddler stuff in this game, if it happens to be in my way, I'll probably get a trophy or scan a riddle and whatnot. It's not going to be a major priority for me in this particular run of the game.
Okay.
So we will not see the Riddler be brought to justice.
Yeah, basically, what you get when you collect all the Riddler stuff is that, first off, I will admit, I do love that, as you progress through the Riddler side mission, he'll start giving Batman flack. At one point, he accuses you of looking him up on the internet. If you find every single Riddler trinket, there's going to be a recording of the police, because Batman found his hideout, the police storming his hideout and pretty much apprehending him. But it's all audio, so...
I mean, it's still satisfying for those that actually decide to go out of their way to go through the entire... thing.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And meanwhile, I'm just thinking in my head, oh, Ed, are you lacing up the entire prison facility with your dumb little trinkets again?
Oh my god.
It's not trinkets, it is a livelihood. A hobby.
I'm going to beat the Batman, Bev.
I love the idea of him feeling this grand vendetta against it for no reason.
He basically, well, that basically is kind of like the Riddler in this universe anyway. That basically is the Riddler in a nutshell. Like, he's almost obsessive with how much he wants to prove he's better than Batman, or at the very least smarter than Batman.
That's pretty much every single depiction of the Riddler, though.
Well, it's definitely played up a lot in this version. But yeah,
Jack Ryder?
Yeah, Jack Ryder is a recurring character in the Batman universe. He's kind of like a reporter. You're going to see him in all the games, actually, but I think most people will recognize him in that, in the comics, and technically the animated series as well, Jack Ryder is actually the alias for a...
Sorry.
Okay, we'll just give it.
I kind of wanted to jump in as Creeper, but yeah, he pretty much basically thinks superhero Joker.
Wait, the Creeper. So,
that guy.
Yellow-skinned wacky man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they make constant references to the Creeper and Jack Ryder being the Creeper in these games. And we never see Jack Ryder as the Creeper in these games.
Honestly, you say that, Matt, the only time they ever explicitly bring up the Creeper is for Jack Ryder's bio in Asylum. As far as I know, he's never brought up at all in City of Origins.
They do actually bring him up once in City, where they mention that they mention like other vigilantes have tried to enter Arkham, such as the Creeper and stuff like that. Or they do mention Creeper's name at least once in that game.
Okay. Alright, fair enough. I had a question for Hype.
Well, what's up?
Yes.
So I actually own this on the Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
Never got around to finishing it, unfortunately, but I know how the story goes, more or less. How does it run on PS3? Like, what was your experience like with its smoothness and or lack thereof? I don't know.
Honestly,
I'm asking genuinely as a question.
Honestly, I think it runs perfectly fine on PS3. Like, I think aside from, like... Well, I was about to say the ragdoll things, but that's kind of universal throughout the entire Devil Dam series.
Yeah, that's right.
As far as performance goes, I never noticed anything like especially glaring whenever I play Asylum. Like, I think it runs perfectly fine. I will say though, one thing that the PS3 version has, and I feel sad that I wasn't able to show it off in the commentary because of basically. Okay, so first off.
Arkham seems bigger than I. Oh no, that's Wayne. Okay, so that's Gotham across the sea. This is all of Arkham.
Yeah. Arkham is pretty much located on an island that's like a good ways away from Gotham.
So it's kind of like the Raft. It's nothing like the Raft.
I would say it's more along the lines of like Alcatraz.
So from here, is it now more open-ended, like open world, like city? Okay, I was worried it was going to be linear the whole way through.
Well, the progression is basically linear, but you are able to, like, freely roam around here and do things.
Okay.
But yeah, just going back to your question, like, it runs fine on PS3. The only thing I will say is that... So an interesting thing that the PS3 version has, and for the longest time, it was only for the PS3. I don't know if they fixed it for the Return to Arkham ports, but exclusively for the PS3, you can actually play as the Joker in the challenge maps. And the problem is that I had that initially. The problem is that like a couple of years ago, I had to get my PS3 replaced because its disc reader was all bothered up. And I can't get the Joker again because I only own the vanilla version, and as far as I know, the PS3's store pretty much closed their shops, so I'm not able to play as the Joker again.
Aww.
And it's a shame because honestly, he's actually like a lot of fun to play as. Like he goes through like the same challenge maps as Batman does, but his moveset is very unique, very enjoyable. And what's interesting is that in the combat maps, I think if you get a high enough score, you can actually see Aaron Cash and Jim Gordon fighting him.
Wow.
Wow.
And then he suddenly shoves a pie in their face.
No pies, but definitely a lot of electric buzzers, a gun actually, and he has like a bunch of other things. He also even has his own detective mode, which is just a pair of X-ray glasses.
Of course.
Okay.
Honestly, for some reason, I can totally imagine his goggles would be more like, you know, the typical googly eyes.
They might as well be. Like, with the way they look, they might as well be.
Cue ball in the corner pocket.
Bunk.
Who's gonna... wow, because he's bald, I get it. Okay.
I'm bald too.
I was gonna.
What do you think so far, Seely?
Yeah, how are you guys doing? What do you think of all
like
this so far?
Sealy.
I'm a Tweedledum. What?
Oh, basically, whenever you see green text, that pretty much is like, there's a riddle in this room. And that's basically what the riddle is.
The paint was just... We finally waxed it.
How dare you?
Don't worry, try as they might, they're not gonna make a dent on that thing.
Yeah, it's made of pure batanium.
Batanium.
Get away from my car!
What did you guys think you were going to
No,
accomplish?
you got it wrong. It's not Batanium, it's Batamantium.
I would love if even just one of these guys
Adamantium rage.
I would love if just one of these guys was like, we probably do deserve this. I mean, you're doing something that specifically would tick him off. What did you think? Yeah, I agree with Silly. What the heck was the outcome in this plan?
They were ordered by Joker to take care of the Batmobile.
Man, that job must suck.
Also, is it just me or does that Batmobile look a little smaller than it should be?
And we'll rectify that, but here's an interesting thing. We protected the Batmobile. However, we're going to open up the trunk, and we're going to get one of our first gadgets that we get, the explosive gel, which basically, you spray it on any environment or certain destructible walls, and you can pretty much detonate it to either incapacitate foes, or pretty much, like, make new openings.
We got a Zelda bomb.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's non-lethal explosive gel.
Hooray.
I don't know how the fuck that's even possible, but
But yeah, we'll try to put that explosive gel to good use in the next part.
Oh boy. Till next time, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye.